Good morning everyone, hope you're having a good day wherever you're up to. Welcome back to another race vlog. I'm back at my mum's in Edinburgh this weekend. I've mentioned before that obviously I love coming home, love coming back to Scotland. It is difficult though, because you try and, like, when you're only back for a short period of the weekend, you try and fit people in and stuff, and yeah, sometimes you just put a bit of pressure on yourself to meet all your pals and things when it's not always possible. But did manage to go for a wee catch up with a pal yesterday, went for a wee run and a coffee, and I think that's one thing that, since I've kind of got into running, straight into the running chat. But I think meeting a pal and going for a wee jog or a run and a catch up is, like, I don't know, it's just almost a revelation for me. It's just I feel like just the conversation's just a little bit better than when you just go and sit in a coffee shop yourself or just go for a walk, but each to their own. So today's Saturday, day of the race, and I'm just going for a little walk just to kind of keep my legs moving and get a coffee, and I'll maybe pick up some Rice Krispie squares because I quite like them, just to keep me tied over if I'm hungry. Right, coffee secured. A bit disappointed if I'm honest, it's kind of watered down crap. But anyway, on to today. So quite excited to race again, really excited. About a month on from Podium 5k, my last kind of race vlog. I'm doing another 5k. Like I say, I might have said this before, but I've just really enjoyed racing more this year for a number of reasons really, but the main one of them being, I think it's just made me so much fitter and a much better runner. So I'm hoping today that I can keep riding this wave of PBs that I'm on. I know that as a runner who's still kind of relatively new to, in quotation marks, proper training, like I'm still relatively new to that, and with that will kind of come these newbie gains almost. So I know it's kind of natural to kind of see kind of some rapid improvement, but I also know that that will plateau at some point. But I'm also quite intrigued and excited to find out how fast I can get, or before that sort of plateau comes, if that makes sense. And the only way to sort of do that is by racing more. So yeah, that kind of again feeds into why I'm sort of enjoying racing so much more this year. But yeah, on to today. I should probably tell you actually a little bit about this 5k event, because I'm quite excited to talk about it. I'm sat on someone's wall now, so hopefully I don't get kicked off. But yeah, so today's event, the 5k that I'm running, is organised by a brand or an organisation called Stride Athletics. I first heard of them maybe about a year ago when I saw one of my friends running at their last 5k event. So Stride Athletics started in like 2023, and it was founded by a guy called Calum. It's still like a really small team, I think so, like 10 people maybe. So they're still a small team, very new to the running space. But essentially, I think what their aim and what their goal is they want to kind of give running fans, athletics fans, events, opportunities to sort of get excited about running, and content that running fans can enjoy, essentially. You know, for example, they've got their own YouTube channel where they kind of try and show the highlights of the sport, athlete stories, behind the scenes sort of training and things like that. So maybe events that and stories that don't get the coverage that they maybe deserve. I've finished my coffee now, so I'm gonna go inside. So Stride were actually founded in Scotland. On their website it says that they are unapologetically Scottish, which obviously I love because I'm biased, but they do want to represent British athletics. So they've done and are doing some pretty cool things in a relatively short space of time. If you go on their website as well, I saw they've even brought out their first edition of the digital magazine, which just talks about their story, the story behind the people that have created Stride and hopefully what they want to do in the future. So yeah, it was a really good read, and I'd recommend that you go and check them out, because I think they can probably tell you their story better than I can. But yeah, so the reason for this video and the reason I'm here this weekend is to take part in what is probably their flagship event, is the 5k flat and fast. I think first of all it probably took me about 30 seconds to come up with that name, but I think they want Flat and Fast to be a 5k event where people can come and, you know, get a lot of PBs, run really fast, and sort of attracts a lot of people to the event, or give Scottish people the option of doing a fast event in Scotland as opposed to kind of going down in England. I think in England there's an awful lot of options, and they do a lot of races really well in England, and maybe in Scotland potentially maybe a little bit behind, but hopefully now we're flat and fast. This will start to rival that, and it's also an event which they want to be open to, you know, recreational runners as well. I think the style of today is going to be similar to the podium. It's going to be about 6 or 7 races, also all getting slightly faster as the day goes on. Today I'm in race 4, which I think is kind of anyone running between 16 and 17 minutes. And the last thing, it's going to be 5 laps around a 1k loop. So again, it's going to be really, really good for spectators. You're going to be able to see everything. So I'm looking forward to it. Shona and my mum are going to come watch, so that'll be nice, and hopefully I'll actually get some half decent footage of me running around in circles. So yeah, I'm going to go get my lunch now and get ready for the day. Should have taken a video of that earlier.
What, parking?
Aye.
Why?
Could have shown everyone how bad your parking was.
You'll get a bus for me.
Bit of fucking tatty field. Good.
The cardamom plate ones, yeah?
They are, yeah. So there's a mix there between the Sky and the Edge Paris. So
I think that's what you need, Mum. You need to buy a pair of cardamom shoes. So you can walk to Waitrose in them.
What is it? Is this chocolate?
Okay, so they're brown rice syrup based, and we just flavour them with the actual juice.
It's a nice bib. Like, it feels nice. And it's got, you know, actual holes in it, so you don't have to pierce it. So
10 out of 10 bib.
10, yeah. 10 out of 10 bib. Oh, we have arrived. Nice wee warm-up spot.
Just a few more athletes to come. They're either on the back straight.
I'm just doing my warm-up now. It's about 40 minutes until I race. Conditions are pretty good. It's like 12 degrees. Sun's kind of poking out. You might have been able to see from the flags, but there's just one hell of a wind coming down the sort of the home straight. So maybe I might have to think about kind of groups and stuff like that, so I can shield myself at points. But yeah, all in all, good conditions. I think I'll head back now. I've not even said this race is in Linlithgow, which is a little town just outside of Edinburgh in Scotland. So I don't think I'd mentioned that yet, but it's really just nice, eh?
Come on then, check us that. No?
Ah, okay. Right up there. I'm happy with that.
Happy?
Yeah, it was so tough, like, so tough. Well, it's more just like competition. It was like, oh, Right, that's me finished, changed. I'm gonna go watch the rest of the races now. I think there's one more kind of open category and then 2 elite races. I think, don't know the exact time yet, I think I might have got a small PB, like literally 1 or 2 seconds. But yeah, it was really good, really fun. I'll do a full kind of race recap later when I'm chilled out. Got a haggis burrito and of course an iron brew. And so, back in London now, back in the flat. Got well, it's Monday now, so we got the train back on the Sunday after a good weekend back home. I thought I'd talk about the rest of the day before I go on to myself. The rest of the event was just filled with really, really competitive races. I think after my race we had about 4 races afterwards, and it was just totally dependent on what time you were going for. So you did have a little bit of a mix of men and women racing together. So I think in the elite women's we had a few guys racing there. The elite women race was really competitive. I think we started off with about 6 women that could have all won it, and in the end, by the last 100 metre we had about 4 women all sprinting at the very end to try and get the win. A woman called Annabelle Simpson won it in about 16 minutes. I think it was 16 minutes and 2 seconds. So some seriously really quick time. She was only 3 seconds off the old course record. And then finally we had the men's elite race, which actually did include Megan Keith in it, who represented Great Britain at the Paris Olympics in the 10k. So to have someone of that calibre racing there is pretty impressive for an event that's only been going for two years, I think. And she ended up running about 15 minutes and 1 second. So she now does have the official women's record for that course. But the men's race was won by a chap called Jamie Crow in about 14 minutes and 8 seconds, I think. And he also won the Inverness half marathon, which I did a video about as well. But the exact same thing with as the women's race. You had about 6 guys all in contention, and then by the end, the last home straight, there was 6 of them all sprinting for it. So it just made for an incredibly exciting day. I think what made a lot of the races really competitive and a really good spectacle was probably the course. Now you might think that just 5 laps on the 1k circuit can't really get that different or that tactical, but what you did have was the turns in the circuit. There was about 4 turns, one after the other, which it was honestly like a Formula 1 circuit. That's what it felt like, because you would go around one corner on the inside, then all of a sudden be on the outside. So you were constantly battling with people to try and get the upper hand. And then of course you had one straight where the wind was right in your face, and then you had another straight where it was right behind you. So you really had to kind of pick and choose your moments when to pick up the pace and when to just be patient. And I think how people dealt with the course and with the wind on the day will have really played a big part in how people did on the day. If I talk about my own race now, I'm happy with what I did out there. 16:49, so a very small PB of 2 seconds. Only the second time I went under 17 minutes. However, I just kind of felt that I had more to give there. I think that what I did earlier in the race just meant that unfortunately I didn't quite have the opportunity to give more. If I break the race up into little sections, the first kind of thing I should have done better was I showed probably a bit too much respect to everyone else in the race. I started far too far back within the little pack. Maybe a bit concerned about the wind, perhaps is why I did that, but definitely should have started further forward, because after the first K, there was so much fighting for position. So as I mentioned with those turns, I was constantly feeling like I was nearly tripping someone up or someone was nearly tripping me up, and I couldn't just get into my flow and my rhythm. Going into the second K, I did find a bit of a group and a bit more space, which was nice. However, coming to the end of the second K, I then realised that group that I was in was probably just a little bit too slow for me. And so coming from the 2nd K into the 3rd K, I started to then try and lead the group and try and bring that on. And Shona even said it to me as well. When she saw me do that, she thought that meant something was wrong, because she knew I wouldn't want to be leading a group at all. I would definitely want to be hanging on to people. And then yeah, final K, managed to have a lot of energy left in me. I had a great sprint finish. Stride were actually doing a prize for the fastest sprint finish over like 100, it was something silly, like 175 yards I think, or meters. But so I thought I might have a chance of winning that in the end, but obviously not, because I felt like I was absolutely flying down the end. But also the fact that that finish was so fast just confirms what I think, that I wasn't fast enough in the first 4K essentially, and left it far too late. You know, another thought I had as well was, it's amazing how quickly the goalposts shift in running, because last month I was absolutely delighted to go under 17 for the first time, and even though Saturday wasn't the sort of 10 seconds or so that I wanted to take off, it is only the 2nd time, like I've said, that I've went under 17 minutes, and at least it's a little bit of consistency in my running, because at one point I thought I'm not even going to get under 17 minutes here. And then, but yeah, all in all, a really successful day, really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for Flat and Fast 5, which I think is going to be in September. And one other cool thing that Stride are actually doing is they've started what's called their athlete springboard, which some of the athletes on the day were kitted out in Stride clothing, and I think it's with Achilles heel as well. And those are just, I think it's 5 athletes that have been selected to be supported by Stride. So again, it's just another initiative that Stride are trying to do to really kind of promote British athletics and give British athletes, aspiring British athletes, the best chance essentially to make the most of their careers, I think. But right, I think that's enough waffle from myself. So thanks very much for watching this far, if you have done. My next video is going to be on the London Marathon, so which I'm really looking forward to creating and showing you guys. So keep an eye out for that, and yeah, have a good Easter everyone.